How's it going, everybody? Mike back at you with another edition of 5 Minute Gaming, and this is a show I'm very, very excited. I mean it. I am excited to share this one with you. I've been working really hard on this one, and this is a slideshow of photos from Horizon Zero Dawn with my friend Aloy. Now, I am right in the middle of playing this game, and this is one of the best RPGs I've ever played in my life. It's right up there with Skyrim and The Witcher 3, right up there. Equally as good. I love this game. It speaks to me. It's got everything I like in an RPG and just the right amounts of it. So while I've been playing, and I'm not done, and you don't need to worry about any spoilers in this game. This is really a collection of pretty pictures and some enticements to certain areas of the game, but you're not going to get any sense of the underlying story or what's going on because there's no dialogue. This is just a slideshow to music and me narrating. You don't have to worry about any spoilers, and I've just got a lot of great images to share with you. And one thing that's fun about these RPGs nowadays is they put in a photo mode where you can anytime pause the game and take pictures, and you can tweak the photos, do all kinds of adjustments. So I spend a heck of a lot of time taking pictures as well as just playing. These were all taken at 4K resolution, which is the resolution I play the game at, and I ran through Photoshop, did a little bit of color adjustments, and then I prepared the slideshow in a separate program. And here it is for you to see. So let's spend some time in Horizon Zero Dawn and my game. And this is how the game starts, is you start as Aloy, as a young girl who fell into some ruins by accident. And again, this takes place in the future. It's post-apocalyptic, but the future has technology. People have reverted to tribes and more primitive cultural type behavior. The enemies are robots and people, and the robots take the forms of familiar animals in our world, but they have their own features and abilities and ways they talk, and it just, again, so much creative stuff to this game. So that's an old abandoned conference room in these ruins. And Aloy at the beginning discovers a dead person, and on that dead person right there, and this is a big, big part of the game, is that's called the focus. And that's what she finds and puts on next to her ear and allows her to see and hear all kinds of things based on the old world technology. And that is Aloy's friend Rost, who is a wonderful, gentle soul who teaches her the ways of hunting and survival. He wants to take the focus, but she really wants to keep it. And he says, well, if you're going to keep it, you got to learn how to survive. And then the tutorial continues. So that's Aloy now, grown up. You can see the focus in her ear. And this is really the first image of this beautiful, gigantic world that is just at your fingertips to explore however way you want. The tutorial is a section of the world, and then once you get out of that, you'll know. It opens up, and you can go anywhere you want. Of course, certain places are going to have more dangerous characters and creatures, but you can do whatever you want, and there's ways you can defeat them. You just might have to get super creative. You can approach combat in this game, or stealth, however you want, and that's the great thing about an RPG. And this is really an example of kind of the beginning unravelings of this world, and huge, huge robotic creatures, some alive and some skeletons left of an old world that Aloy is trying to figure out what happened to this world. Why are things this way? And that is another great image of the tutorial area. And then Aloy, this is after things over, but you can see remnants of old skyscrapers, and that's a funky outfit she's wearing. Not one of my favorite outfits that I had to put on her for a while, but it gave me certain perks, and so I needed to wear it. And there is an example of the many, many robotic creatures you can battle, and I'm really only showing you this one. This is the Watcher. This is kind of the first one you meet. So another way to get you to play this game, I'm not going to show you all the crazy things you get to battle. And I was able to quickly snap that picture of an explosion. So, you know, blow things up. Make new friends. There's so many things you can do in this game. Explore ruins. It almost to me looks like the ending of the 520 bridge here in Seattle, even though that's not Seattle. You can still look at the beautiful stars at night. Again, I stopped so many times to take pictures. You see that's an old street intersection that's been flooded over and overgrown. And this is the path on the way to the largest city in the game, which is called Meridian. And I look at these pictures sometimes and I think, I'm amazed that they're in-game, that I just paused things and took a photo. Everything there is fully rendered at 4K, 60 frames a second. And that's a friend you meet earlier in the game called Erend, and he is a cool guy. I liked him, very likable character. And this is in Meridian, the path to visit the Sun King. That's the Sun King there, and he's kind of the leader of the land, so to speak. And there's a whole backstory about that. And there's Erend and Aloy dressed in more battle gear, ready to do something. And that is an interesting image, and I'm not going to tell you a thing about it. If you want to know what the heck's going on there, got to play the game. This character's name is Nil, and he's a fun character. You meet him out there, and he wants you to help him rid bandit camps. And bandit camps are something in the game where really I call it the Assassin's Creed style, where you can infiltrate bandit camp slowly, take everybody out, and then liberate the camp. And Nil has this thing for bandits, and he also has kind of a thing for Aloy, and it's very, very funny. He's definitely an enduring comical character. He actually smiles a lot. That's kind of a more serious image. I always like backlit photos where the sun is reflecting. There it was raining, and I stopped, and Aloy kind of looks up and puts her hands out, feels the rain on her face. There's a moonlit night. The weather patterns and biomes in this game are perfect. It's got everything. Jungles, snow, desert, everything. It's just great. Caves. I stopped and took a picture while I was in a cave. And one thing you do, you climb up to vantage points, and they allow you to trigger a holographic image of what things used to be like. So you can see that's an abandoned stadium, sports stadium, but the vantage point trigger allowed me to see a slight electronically based holographic image of what it used to look like. Again, much of this game, Aloy is trying to find out what the old world is all about. I want to draw your attention to something in this image right there. That is a really, really cool part of this game. And that is called a tall neck, based on a giraffe. But tall necks wander the land and they will never attack you. They're jumping puzzles. So if you see on its neck, there's some platforms and you have to figure out how to get on them and climb to the top of their head. So there's me, I'm chasing the tall neck, trying to get to a vantage point, and then that's me climbing the tall neck. And when you get to the top, you can unlock secrets. When you do that, it'll show you things on the map, secrets to go find. So it's kind of a way to reveal map points. It's definitely another fun part of the game, and there are so many. And moonlit nights are just as beautiful as sunlit days. And you have sandstorms. I really liked that old tree. So I stopped and took a picture, and this is where the sun is setting. Again, I like that backlight. Here's some cacti in the desert biome, and you can see beyond the snowy mountains. Just another beautiful image that I stopped to take a picture of. And everything you see here moves in real time. Well, these are not paintings, in-game generated 3D content. Everything is just alive. And again, hard to describe the sound. The sounds of the game really take you there. Everything you would expect to hear is there, and then some. The music is tastefully done, comes in at just the right places depending on what you're doing. There's some old buildings that I had to infiltrate as a big part of the main quest. There I'm up on a tall building, and this was an ice-frozen lake that I had to do some battle on with some of the creatures. And that's a backlit, moonlit photo of a creature that is dead. So it's really just the skeletal remains of something. I have no idea what this is. Sometimes when you stop and take pictures, you can pose Aloy, so I decided to pose her. And most of the time I let her just stand the way she's doing. And there I was actually running, and I paused the action just enough to take the picture. And there's the skeletal remains of this giant spider-like creature. I don't know what it is, and that's it kind of buried into this building. And this is a little bit of the discovery of the story. Aloy learning about the past. You see holographic images of what was going on when things were falling apart. If there was a photo contest, this is the one I would submit. I composed that one myself, and that character has a lot of meaning in the game, in addition to Aloy. And there's another shot of Aloy with the skeletal remains of something. A beautiful sunset, so many beautiful sunsets, and this is more of a jungle biome, a lot of mist, moonlit nights. There you can see a lot of the mist in the trees. I just stopped because I was captivated by the mist, and there is so much that goes into game design to get that kind of an image. It's mind-blowing, frankly, how they do it. There's some brilliant people out there that work on these, that create these real-world type looking images all in a 3D program. Gigantic waterfalls, and I can climb those cliffs, and I have. A lot of lens flares. I like lens flares, so I'll try to get pictures with a lens flare. Now this is a part of the game where it's called a cauldron. There are a few cauldrons in the game, and when you unlock them, they give you abilities with your spear, and they're underground robot facilities that are still manufacturing these robots. And I will be totally honest, these cauldrons creep me out. It makes me feel like Aliens, the movie Aliens or Alien, because there's big, huge machine robots making robots, and there's that chugging sounds, and you have to do battle down these. You have to get down at the end. You have to do a big battle, and they creep me out. I'm not afraid to admit that when I have to solve a cauldron, I usually do it during the day, because at night it's just too darn creepy for me. And you know, that's a kick-ass game when it makes you feel that way. So there's Aloy unlocking a door in the cauldron, and this is a small town on the east side. Fires, like you see there, these are save points. So the way you save is you come up to a fire like this and you can do a quick save. You have to be careful to go into battle. If you haven't saved and you die, you'll lose everything you've done. It's fairly done. Fairly done. I have no complaints about that. I think it's nice that you can't just quick save every second. It does make you just have to kind of think a little bit. Now there's a watcher that's looking for me and I'm hiding in the brush, waiting for the right opportunity to strike. Those blue lights you see here and here, those are creatures. And at nighttime they emit a blue light, and that's how you know they're there. And you have to approach very, very slowly and cautiously. And I like to use fire arrows, so there's my flaming fire arrow. This is a picture I took from just up high in one of the snowy sections of the game. There's another picture climbing a cliff with the moon rising over the trees. The additional content in the game is called the Frozen Wilds, and it's an unlockable spot up north that you have to hit level 30, they recommend, before you go up there. But this is the path to the Frozen Wilds, and it's lit by what they call these blue lights, which is blue gleam. And there's nothing I like more in a game where there's a path and mystery ahead, and that is perfection right there of what that's all about. So I traverse this path and get up into the Frozen Wilds and meet a culture up there that they have an interesting way of having relationships with machines, and there's a whole additional story that unfolds when you get up there. And again, look at the character design of the faces of these beautiful looking people. The whole part of the Frozen Wilds has to do with that big volcano back there, and I haven't beat this. I'm at about level 38, and I'm trying to complete the main quest. I've come up here to visit, but I haven't really started hitting the Frozen Wilds hard yet. There's a little bit of a hint of something interesting about the Frozen Wilds that is waiting for you when you get up here. And I stopped and took a nice moonlit shot of Aloy in mid-jump. I had to really plan that one. What's great about RPGs is everywhere you see there you can go, for the most part, except the very, very far mountains. And there's one of the big, huge guns you get. There are guns in this game. They're kind of funky guns, but they do pack a wallop, and you only can use them for limited amount of time, which is good. They've done a good job balancing your power with what you can do, but that's an example of a funky gun. There's another funky gun, and I caught myself in mid-firing, so you can just see how things work there. My son Brett and I did another show on Horizon Zero Dawn where Brett played a little bit. Again, no spoilers. You can totally go there. It's safe to watch. I'm going to put a link to it right up there. Brett can teach you what he's learned about the game, and he has just started it, and he's told me eventually he's going to keep going with it because it reminds him a little bit of Breath of the Wild. And you know what the best thing of all is that there's a sequel coming out this year, Horizon Forbidden West. Can't wait.